So with dependencies, they allow you to define whether one action depends on another. So if a first action doesn't run or gets skipped because of preconditions or something, the dependent action won't run either. And this allows you to ensure that your workflow actions only run when the actions they rely on have also run. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back into my screen share so that we can take another look at dependencies. So I'm jumping back into kind of that first one that we've seen, and that's going to be our community outreach workflow. And here we saw that the volunteer record has that dependency, but you know, if I am creating a volunteer record, I do also need a driver's license for that volunteer record. And so I have a upload driver's license that has a dependency on the create volunteer. And adding this dependency allows me to ensure that this action being dependent on the volunteer record is only ever going to upload a driver's license file to my Salesforce when a volunteer record has been created. And another example of dependencies is going to kind of circle back to that kind of like Mel said with the payments and stuff is here in this workflow, I have a conference registration, and as part of the registration, they can also choose to donate. And so with the registration, I do need to charge taxes on the registration, but I don't want to charge taxes on donation. So I can come down to this taxes on registration action, and I have a dependency on that total registration cost. And this allows me to ensure that if someone makes a donation, they are not getting charged taxes. And the only time someone is being charged taxes is when they are registering. And this allows me to keep my workflow steps aligned and making sure that each step is only running when it actually needs to and makes sense to for my workflow. And now I'm curious of like what you've seen of Mel with support and using dependencies.
I'll tell you the place that dependencies come in great with support is getting rid of those orphaned records, right? This is a way that people really can. One thing we see with regular forms is the accidental orphaned records, right? Because something got created and it didn't get attached the way that you wanted it to. Dependencies clear that up. Dependencies say, hey, you know, I'm only doing it if this, and so make them joined. So you're not worrying about any kind of cases out there not attached to accounts, or you know, cases or tasks not attached to the right contact, things of that nature. So it really, really is helpful. The other big thing is it's really helpful with the timing issue. I know sometimes we have a couple things running at once. You've got a Salesforce connector trying to do everything. We're running them asynchronously in the background. But with dependencies, you're not having to worry about it not catching. Sorry, apparently I'm a big hand user, but you know, with the async form ones, you run the risk of them trying to happen at the same time, and therefore the second one not really connecting to the first. But with dependencies, you're saying don't even bother, right, until that first one is created, and that's a huge help in that timing issue. And so you know that they're all getting connected the way that they need to be connected. So this is, you know, just of course really anytime you're using a parent-child object, anytime you're trying to create a task associated with an account, or anytime you're trying to create a case associated with a contact in particular, these have been, you know, game changers for folks in making sure they get set up the right way, connected the right way, and continue to run their process as expected. You know, it also really kind of helps with some reconvening, right? You know, so we're sending people down different paths, and we need them to meet back up. That's not a very elegant solution in the form to form, but with the workflows and with the way that we have dependencies, once X happens, whether it happens over here or over there, we're coming back to one place. So it's really allowing a lot of that joining up that we need to happen. So those are some of the big wins that we've seen with that, and some of the ways that people are typically using that to make their whole flow a lot easier.